Okay, so following up on my previous video about how we need someone else to be there to facilitate our journey into solitude, some of you may be thinking or may want to ask me, and why can't that person or those people to help me journey into solitude be the people in my community, right? So I'm talking about, let's say, maybe my cell group, my faith sharing group, the community that I meet regularly to go through faith formation together, and so like my community or my ministry. Why can't I approach people there to be the ones to facilitate me into the journey into solitude? Okay, so and that's a legitimate question. That's a great question to ask. So here's the thing. I mentioned before in a previous video that we need to be discerning as to who we invite into that position of facilitating our own journey into ourselves, into the depths of our solitude. That is a very sacred and holy place. Okay? And that is why we don't just hand that over to anyone. Okay? And I'm not saying that your very good friend or your spouse or your community member are not worthy of that treasure of sharing your sacred space with them. But they may not be ready. Okay, so worthiness and readiness is very different, right? They're very distinct. They may be worthy, right? Your spouse or your best friend or your community member, they may be worthy. But if they haven't made that journey themselves, into their own solitude, plus if they do not know how to receive and accompany someone else who is struggling with the issues of entering into the interior journey without judging them, they are not going to be clear mirrors for you. They're not going to be safe spaces for you. Not because they're bad people, not because they don't love you, but they don't know how to. Because maybe they haven't learned to love themselves, right? Maybe they haven't learned to slow down and to know what it means to be silent and still, to be alone before God, to let God reveal what's within, to transform what's within, to heal what's within. It's a process. It's not a one-time thing, right? And the more someone goes through this journey themselves, generally, the more they become able to be that mirror for someone else making that journey. For the same reason, we often find that those of us who are committed to continuing this interior journey, right? We don't just do like one cut and two cut and then we think like, oh, that's done, I'm well. If we continue this journey, the deeper we go into the journey, we will find it gets harder to find people to facilitate the journey for us. It becomes harder sometimes to find the right spiritual director to accompany us, or the right therapist to accompany us. Because the further we go into the journey of integration, in a sense, the more we need someone who is able to hold tension within them and have that experience and that wisdom and depth in their own experience, ideally in their own journey, to accompany us. And so it's so important to be prudent and to be discerning as to who we share, our interior journey with. It's a different thing when we're sharing things that have already been processed and consolidated and integrated with us. These are things that are maybe we are more ready to share with others. They are no longer so raw. But those things that we're wrestling with at the moment, those areas that God is bringing up to the surface for healing, these are very raw things, right? They are very vulnerable parts of us. We need to be very discerning and prudent as to who we share these things with, so that we don't get confused or discouraged by their responses. Okay? So that's the reason why it isn't necessarily true that you can just approach your community member or your spouse or your friend to be that space for you. Right? You need someone who knows how to hold that kind of space for you. And you need someone who knows what it's like to make that journey as well.